Before I begin this video, let me play that intro because why the heck not? What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, everyone? Dr. Ironbat Prime 2.0 back at it with this new video, and I'm here for another look back video at, well, Transformers Prime, the TV show that premiered, back in 2010. I mean 2011, and let's just say I just wanted to talk about this because the new Transformers movie is right around the corner from coming out, and being the massive Transformers fan that I am, which I barely talk about on my channel, I thought I'd just talk about something Transformers related. So I thought I'd go back and talk about one of my childhood cartoons, and this is just one of them. So, just a quick look back on the show Transformers Prime. What do I think about the show? What is it? In my opinion, what are my thoughts on this show? I really enjoyed this show. I still love it, and even as a young adult, I mean, this was like my childhood show that I would nonstop watch as a kid, and I was like 12 years old when this show first aired, and well, let's just say it just holds a special place in my heart, and it's one of the reasons that this is one of the reasons I became a pretty massive Transformers fan. Because I mean, I enjoy the story, I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the action, the adventures, and there's just a whole lot of perfect computer animation, music, characters, a whole lot of, explosions and hardcore things here and there. Like, there were times where this show got a bit PG-13 ish than being, G and or PG, but yeah, again, this is just all around one of my childhood shows and will always be one of my few favorites. I mean, it's just all around that good, that classy. I mean, it's like Michael Bay's Transformers, but in a more, not too many Autobots and not too many crazy explosions all over the place, but in a perfect modernized way. I mean, it's almost like they even sprinkled in some G1 cartoon stuff in it. And yeah, I mean, that's why I enjoy it a lot. I mean, computer animation is good, which I am a sucker for, and there's just a lot for me to love and enjoy about this show. I mean, because it also premiered on the Hub Network. I mean, the Hub Network was pretty much a retro kind of a TV channel because it had old shows and new shows at the same time. Heck, I'll admit that TV block was like one of my childhood favorites, TV blocks, because I mean, not only there was Transformers Prime, but there was also like a dozen other Transformers cartoons, and it also introduced me to Batman Beyond, Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, G.I. Joe Renegades, and there's a couple other shows that on that channel that I loved and enjoyed as a kid. I mean, it had shows that were old and new at the same time. And again, it was just very retro. That's what the Hub Network was like. And man, do I miss that TV block as a kid. I mean, can someone please make a streaming service for all these shows that were, I mean, I know some of them are some of these shows are scattered throughout like HBO Max and, and even Netflix, but come on, a TV block for all these shows on the Hub Network, I would watch it. So, just to continue with talking about the show, I think there's a whole lot to love, enjoy, and explore. I mean, another one of the things I want to talk about is the casting, and here's the casting that I want to talk about. We had Peter Cullen reprising his role as Optimus Prime. We had Frank Welker reprising his role as Megatron, of course. The iconic voices of Optimus Prime and Megatron just reprise their roles. I mean, because they are the iconic voices of these Transformers because, you can't have one without the other. And also, they are so iconic. I mean, they voice Optimus Prime and Megatron in nearly every other cartoon and movie when it comes to Transformers, several video games, and if they ever show up at Comic-Con, I'm just gonna jump in line and meet them and be like, take my money, Comic-Con, I want to meet them. But besides them, I really like the other voice actors. We had Steve Blum voicing Starscream. We had Kevin Michael Richardson voicing Bulkhead. Nolan North was voicing Smokescreen. Josh Keaton was voicing Jack Darby. And we even had The Rock voice Cliffjumper in just a couple episodes. Yeah, that last one, I'll admit, that was something I did not know until I got older. Who knew The Rock voiced the Transformer?
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
I had to and I wanted to, just for fun. Again, the casting is great. I mean, I overall love the casting, and the voice actors did a really great job. And heck, these are other amazing voice actors that I want to meet at Comic-Con if they ever show up. But I'll admit, there's a lot of other things I do want to talk about with this show. So yeah, I mean, this show just has it all and has everything when it comes to characters and story arcs. I mean, sure, they may have changed a few things here and there throughout the show, but I overall love it and enjoy it because, I mean, all the characters have, like, perfect backstories and each have, like, a special episode of their own. I mean, and there were times where, well, not only it got hardcore, but there were times where the Autobots lost and Decepticons semi-sorta won. And it was just all around, like, had like, perfect story arcs and character developments. And it all just worked very well. I mean, it's like the creators did their homework the right way, and it was just all around perfect. It's like it was done the right way. And sure, there are a dozen other Transformers cartoons that may kind of sort of be like this, but this one just holds a near and dear place in my heart and will always be one of my favorites. So yeah, I mean, character-wise, I mean, there's a ton of great characters. Like, you have, like, the fan-favorite Decepticons, fan-favorite Autobots, and their designs are great. They have backstories of their own, and there's just a lot to enjoy. I mean, story-wise, I mean, there were times where they had to, like, defend the Earth from, well, Unicron Rising. The Decepticons had to, well, they destroyed the Autobot base once, and yeah, there were times where, like, the Autobots had their butts handed to them, and, well, the Decepticons had a win-win for them. So, yeah. And like I said before, there were times where the show got intense, like got a bit PG-13-ish, and my mind was blown when they did that. So another thing I do want to talk about, there are a ton of other Transformers cartoons out there. Like, I'll admit, I know there's like a dozen others, but this one just falls in line of just being top of the list, being one of my favorites. And I know that there are a dozen others that I do love and enjoy. And believe me, I have seen like nearly every single Transformers cartoon made. But again, this one just ends up being a top of the list of being my favorites for X, Y, and Z reasons. So I will also be honest, there was a time where, well, the show, well, it came to an end, of course, but not much on a cliffhanger because, in a way, it did have some continuing stories here and there. We also had Transformers Beast Hunters, which is pretty much season 3 of the show, but we also got like a TV movie called Predacons Rising. But there were even, a couple of, continuing stories like the RID series from 2015, and we even got that semi-sort of sideshow, Transformers Rescue Bots. And sure, they may not be 100% as entertaining as, well, Transformers Prime, but I still like them and enjoy them. But even though Rescue Bots may be a bit 50-50, yeah, and that's more of like a Transformers show I'm going to introduce my kids to. But also Transformers RID, which came out in 2015, I think. Well, it was a bit overkill, but, well, at least they were able to continue the story a bit. But I really hope that someday they could just give us a comic that equals, like, what happened after, well, Predacons Rising, and see what the other Autobots and Decepticons were doing, well, when the story came to an end, because I would read those comics, and, well, there's just a ton of great characters to love and enjoy. I mean, not just the Autobots, but same goes for the human allies and Decepticons. There's a lot of characters to enjoy in this series. So, wrapping my thoughts to a close, I'll admit, like I said, there are a dozen other Transformers cartoons out there, but this one falls in line of being top of the list and being one of my favorites. It still holds a near and dear place in my heart. Heck, when I was a kid, I had nearly the entire action figure set, and I almost wish I had some of them back. But yeah, I'll admit, this show is still up there being one of my favorites, something I want to revisit later in the future because, I mean, it still holds a near and dear place in my heart, and I am a true Transformers fan at heart. But hey, I still enjoy the show, and it is still up there being one of my favorites. But yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested, it is on Netflix, but I really hope that they have, like, well, the entire series on Netflix. It's been a while since I've checked, but yeah, I really hope that they can just release the whole series on like a streaming service thing or something, but come on. So just to continue on wrapping it up, don't forget to, well, subscribe to the channel by hitting subscribe down there, along with hitting the bell, hit the comments, and hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and it would make me really happy. But also, don't forget to follow me on all my social media stuff, which is right here, and I just might follow you guys right back. So, until my next video, this is Dr. Iron Bat Prime 2.0 signing out and rolling out.